Hello and welcome to the Battle Square. Today I've got with me James Stevenson. James Stevenson won the Hatfield Regional. Thank you for being with me, James.
That's all right. Thank you for having me.
It's weird actually because you won the regional, the first regional for last year, didn't you? And you won.
Yeah, Norwich. Yeah.
I remember that one because that's the only one I top 8'd at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you were running Earth Water that year, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Right. Let's get started onto your deck this year. Well, I'm going to bring it up on the screen now. You can't see it obviously, but you went for mono ice. What was your reasoning for going for mono ice? Is it something you've been running for quite a while?
Would you believe no? I was running Wind Lightning beforehand, but I was starting to lose some silly games. So I decided I needed to change about 5 weeks before regionals was due.
Right. Okay.
So I've only been using mono ice for about 5 weeks.
Oh, right. Okay.
And sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, that'd be surprising to some people, I'm sure.
Yeah. The reason why I chose mono ice is it caught my eye when I saw Toby had won, obviously, all of the European championships and whatnot with it.
Yeah.
And I'd also done a few games against Jamie Faulkner, and he was using mono ice at the time. And yeah, just the power level of the deck was insane. So I thought, do you know what? There's a reason all these people are playing this. Let's give it a go.
Yeah. So is this your take on another deck, or is this like, so you went through all of the cards yourself and just thought, these are what I like, this is what I want, and then we'll whittle it down from there, or how did you go about building it?
Yeah, so basically I used Toby's as a base.
Yeah.
And when Opus 5 came in, I took a look at Orphan, and I was just amazed at the sheer power level of the card. So I was like, okay, so that went immediately in.
Yeah. I know
there was
you've got 3 of them.
Yes, yeah. I originally thought about Buckaboo as well, and I tested it.
Yeah.
And my findings were not fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the early game, it was just a 2-for-2 trade. Whereas Flan, and if you ever hear Toby talk about Flan, he can't say enough good things about it. There's a reason. And it just generates free advantage every turn because you're essentially paying 1 CP a turn and turning it into an extra card, which is equivalently 2 CP in your hand. So for the couple of turns after you play Flan, you're getting free advantage, and then the turn after you're just sending it to the break zone and making them discard one. It's a silly card. Whereas Buckaboo, you're pretty much always break even with it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, fair enough.
Yeah, you asked me about Triple Orphan.
Yeah.
The reason why, I did try it at 2, and I found myself either not seeing them at all, or having to pitch them really early when you haven't got the ice characters to do it.
Yeah.
And then you were forced to never having to see it for the rest of the game. And it's too strong a card to let that happen.
Yeah, I would agree personally. I love that card. It puts in a lot of work. You used it because your first game was actually at Hatfield was against me, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
And I was using my mono lightning deck, and you just shut me down with Orphan. Orphan, you came in, you brought it in, and I can't remember exactly what else you phrased, but Zemus was obviously one of them.
Yeah.
And every turn you just kept on freezing Zemus when Orphan attacked, and I just couldn't keep up with that aggression, if you know what I mean. Just keeping everything down. You managed to keep everything down with this deck. It just does a lot of work, Orphan.
I haven't got enough good things to say about him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the 3 of personally. I like mono ice as well. I've got my own little mono ice deck. And yeah, I definitely agree with the 3 of. Obviously you've got what you would consider, in my opinion, a standard lock. Setzer, where is he? Setzer's there, 3 of. Lock's a 3 of. You got Celeste as a 3 of. So that, to be honest, would you agree that's kind of like a staple now in mono ice?
Yeah, the Celes was originally a 2 of. The reason I bumped it to a 3 is not only is it a 9k body with Duke Larg, it's also I was a little bit afraid of the Zodiac Gabranth combo.
Right, okay.
I didn't actually know whether I was going to see it or not, but I needed to have that summon negation and have it a little bit consistent. But Celes, especially in the final against Mitch, who was using Lightning Water Fusuya, she constantly kept Fusuya frozen. Which allowed me to take a few turns extra, should we say, and put some pressure on. So yeah, she absolutely did a fantastic job. So I'm really glad I put in 3.
Yeah, definitely. I love the 3 of there because it puts in a hell of a lot of work. There's that new Edward, isn't there? The one that makes your opponent discard the 3.
The 3 drop. Yeah.
Who's also got a similar S ability where you can cancel a summons effect. So
that's right.
Yeah, I've seen those get played. Well, what was your thinking behind not putting that in? And
space, I think. Yeah. I mean, it was fine. Obviously, as a 3 drop backup, but I already had the triple Sid in there. I had the triple Duke Larg. I had the Mog.
Yeah.
There was already a lot of 3 drops in there, and there's nothing I would want to drop for Edward.
You'd always play the forward over the backup in that respect for an ability like that. So the backup doesn't necessarily put in as much work, whereas Celes obviously puts in a hell of a lot more work because it's got they both got good ends to the field abilities, but Celes, you would say, is definitely better in that respect, in that cancelling.
Yeah, it's the freeze upon entry that kind of swings it. But yeah, she's FF6 and she's a big body, so yeah, ticks all boxes. Yeah,
definitely. Forwards wise, I don't think there's anything else I'm really surprised about. If I'm honest, forwards wise, like I said, most of the cards that are in there are kind of staples in mono ice decks. Renoa, I was a little bit shocked to see 3 of, because now with other cards out there, I've seen a lot of 2 ofs, and in some aspects you don't even see Renoa at all now, because there's so many other options. What was your thinking behind Renoa, and say obviously the cost is different, but a card like Zed, where it's making your opponent discard. What was your thinking behind Renoa and staying in the deck?
Okay, so originally Renoa was not in the list at all. She was a very late comer to it. Now the reason for that is because my Earth matchup is not the greatest, especially mono Earth, mainly because of Legendary Wall giving everything Brave.
Yeah.
Now Renoa has got the cool little trick of essentially nullifying any Brave that Wall gives you. There was a particular instance when I was facing Earth Ice in round 3 that my opponent essentially attacked in. I blocked with Renoa, turned everything sideways. And then in my turn, got in for a few points, and then just played another Renoa.
Yeah.
And he was in the exact same position that he was in, and unfortunately just then got aggressive again with it, turned all his team sideways, and I just got in for another couple of points. No other card can kind of do that.
Yeah.
And Earth, unfortunately, short of Shantotto, has no way of not killing that Renoa. She's either going to get put in front of their forward and die that way, or they're going to use one of their pieces of removal and break it, but there's no way for them to avoid the whole team going sideways.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with a card like that being in a deck, especially mono ice deck. Your reasonings make complete sense. To be honest, I'd be shocked if people didn't put that in. It's a really nice. That ability is so good for dulling all the forwards. Like you say, Earth hasn't really. Earth is your worst matchup with mono ice. The only way to deal with mono ice with in that respect would be matching it with another colour, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, let's move on to your summons. Mateus the Corrupt. Why 3 of?
As previously mentioned, Earth is indeed my worst matchup.
Yep.
With the previous version of the deck, I did run the Opus 4 Shiva, but because Earth is so bad for me, I encountered a mono Earth matchup in playtesting that did the 5-drop Yang against me, and there was not a thing I could do against it. The only option was to party attack, and my opponent just having 1 piece of removal just meant game over for me.
Yeah.
So Mateus allows me to be the aggressor in that matchup, because they don't know whether I've got it, they don't know if I'm bluffing, and even if I do have it, their only option is to literally throw their forward in front of it. Compared with things, used with things like either Genesis or Lock, where they do not want to get hit by it, they're forced to put their forward in front of it and just lose it to a 1 CP summon, and it's power level's crazy.
That is ridiculous. When I first saw that card, I was just like, what? Ice doesn't need that much more brutality. But yeah, I can agree. You've got 3 Shivas as well. Mateus the Corrupt, I love that card. It's so good. And like you say, Yang, he's another guy ability. He can't be dulled.
Guy's a problem as well. So
that is such a brutal card in a mono Earth deck, and plus when you get Ursula out as well. That's beautiful. I've built a deck just specifically around them just because. There was
multiple times during the tournament where people would block one of my forwards, and then attempt to use a battle trick, so things like Bismarck or whatever, and it just got met with a Mateus, and they just regretted their decision.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That
is that is a shame as well, because it doesn't matter what happens really. You still, unless they're using an S ability or something, the ability would still go through. But yeah, their card's always going to get broken.
Exactly.
Such a good card. Let's go to your backups now. You got 2 CP Bard, 3 of, which is I can understand that. That's a standard sort of card. Jill Nabar, obviously. Duke, I guess I could never say his name. Empire Sid.
Gestalian. I don't know. I don't know either.
And Mog. You've only got 1 of with Mog. Is that just to search for the Sarah?
No, it searches Orphan as well.
Oh, and Terra. And what else does it search?
So it searches. It searches Sarah and Orphan. Those are the only targets in the deck.
Oh, is that? Oh yeah, Terra's 6. What am I thinking? I didn't even realise Orphan was category 13.
Yeah, no, I didn't to begin with. Obviously, he's the end boss in Final Fantasy 13, isn't he? So yeah, makes sense.
I've never actually completed it. I always get bored. You know, Matt's always going on about it, like saying it's one of the best Final Fantasies. No, I just get bored. I go through 9, no problem, but no, there. But that's a bit off topic. You've only got the 1 Mog. What's your reasoning behind that? Because surely that's something. I know you can only have 1 of them on field at a time, but surely you want to draw into a card like Mog.
Yes and no. Getting the sit down is priority, or Duke Larg depending on the matchup. Sarah is always nice to have to hand and discard, etc. But having the FF6 engine online is far, far more important. And searching for an Orphan really early game does nothing. So Mog was good at 1. It allowed me to search my end game pieces out. So if my opponent's got a board there and I needed to dull it all down and get through, I could Mog late game for an Orphan and then just put it down and just clear the way. Yeah. I didn't feel that I ever needed more than 1. It did its purpose. If I had to play it on turn 2, I generally searched Sarah, just so I could put something on board that I really didn't care if it died.
Right, okay. No, that's fair enough. Yeah, that makes complete sense. I mean, when you've got something like that game plan, then yeah, it makes complete sense. Well, yeah, congratulations for your win. Obviously, it's a really nice deck. Are you planning on running mono ice at Nationals, or is that going to be a surprise?
Well, it's all to do with how good it's going to be in Opus 6, I think. I'm not entirely sure at this point whether Opus 6 will be legal for Nats yet because they haven't announced it. But I mean, yeah, if there's nothing certainly better, I will continue to play it. I'm attending a few more regionals as well, which I will likely just stick with the deck because there's not a thing I would change with it. So I look forward to doing that.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see what Opus 6 has.
Yeah, I always look forward to a new Opus. Not that I do very well at major tournaments at the moment, but yeah, no, it's just really exciting seeing all the new cards and seeing what people are gonna do with them. And yeah, like I say, this is a really nice deck. It worked really well. And yeah, I'm happy for you to be the first person through to Nationals again.
Thank you.
But yeah, right. I think we'll end it there. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, congratulations.
All right, thank you, buddy. Cheers for having me.
Cheers. Bye.